Hello there, and welcome to the Sleeping Science channel. Tonight we'll drift through the quiet architecture of the deep future, a place where the frenetic energy of the present slows down, and time itself learns the art of perfect stillness. Perhaps the day has been full of noise, demanding your attention and pulling your focus in 1,000 different directions, leaving your mind feeling a bit like a scattered constellation. That is quite natural, but here, in this space we have created, together, none of those demands can reach you. They are merely distant echoes, fading into a background that is soft and dark. Let your shoulders rest. Let gravity hold you as we prepare to explore the ultimate, gentle destiny of all things. Tonight, we'll drift through the quiet laws of entropy and the heat death of the universe, not as an ending, but as a final, graceful exhale of the cosmos. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way. Here too. Now let's begin. The universe you occupy right now is a place of vibrant, almost restless activity, filled with the burning of stars and the churning of galaxies, a grand machine that has been running for billions of years without pause. It is magnificent, certainly, but it is also exhausting, a state of constant exertion where gravity pulls and nuclear fires push, maintaining a delicate high-energy balance that requires immense effort to sustain. But if you look closely at the fabric of reality, beneath the roar of the suns and the swirl of the nebulas, you can sense a hidden desire, a fundamental preference for a simpler, quieter state of being. Every atom, every wave of light, and every burst of heat is secretly longing for a moment of rest, seeking a way to lay down the burden of carrying energy and simply settle into the dark. This is not a flaw in the design of the cosmos, but rather its most comforting promise, the assurance that the work will not last forever. And that relaxation is the ultimate goal of every physical law. And still, it turns. Consider the warmth of a cup of tea left on a table, how the steam rises in gentle, twisting ribbons, carrying the heat away into the cooler air of the room. This is a small, domestic example of the most powerful principle in physics, the second law of thermodynamics, which dictates that concentrated energy always seeks to spread out, to share itself with the emptiness until there are no more sharp differences. The tea does not want to remain hot. It wants to be comfortable, to match the temperature of its surroundings, to release the tension of holding on to that heat and find equilibrium with the world around it. The universe is doing exactly the same thing, only on a scale so vast and with a timeline so long that it is difficult for the human mind to grasp the sheer patience involved in the process. Just as the tea cools to find peace with the room, the stars are burning their fuel to share their warmth with the cold vacuum of space, slowly pouring their energy out into the dark. It is a gesture of generosity, a continuous act of giving away what they hold so tight, loosening their grip on the light until they have nothing left to hoarding. And the current flows, without effort. This process is often called entropy, a word that sounds technical and perhaps a bit chaotic, but in truth, it is simply the scientific term for the universe getting comfortable. High entropy is a state of high relaxation, where everything is evenly distributed, where there is no more crowding of particles or clumping of energy, just a smooth, uniform field of rest. Low entropy, the state we are in now, is organized and structured, but it is also tense, like a spring coiled tight or a dam holding back a tremendous weight of water. As time moves forward, that spring slowly uncoils, releasing its tension inch by inch, allowing the system to breathe and expand into a posture of total ease. The universe is moving from a state of tight, ordered constriction toward a state of loose, liberated freedom, where the strict rules of structure no longer apply. It is a long journey from the frantic complexity of the early cosmos to the serene simplicity of the deep future, but every moment that passes brings us one step closer to that final calm. The rhythm continues. Imagine the night sky above you, not as a static painting, but as a slow-motion video of this great unwinding, where the galaxies are, gradually drifting apart, carried by the expansion of space itself. This expansion is gentle but relentless, stretching the distance between galaxy clusters, widening the gaps in the cosmic web and creating more room for silence to inhabit. It is as if the universe is taking a deep breath, expanding its chest, creating a vast open cavern where matter can float without bumping into its neighbors, drifting in a solitude that is peaceful rather than lonely. In this widening dark, the localized pockets of heat, the stars, continue their work of radiating energy, acting as the engines that drive the universe toward its resting temperature. Our own sun, a steady yellow dwarf, is currently in the prime of its life, diligently fusing hydrogen into helium, vibrating with the effort of holding itself together against its own gravity. It is a labor of billions of years, a constant output of light and heat that bathes the solar system. But even this mighty effort is finite, a temporary exertion, in the face of eternity, and light drifts onward. Eventually, the fuel will run low, and the sun will undergo its own transformation, shedding its outer layers like a heavy coat it no longer needs to wear. It will gently puff these layers out into the surrounding space, creating a planetary nebula, a beautiful, glowing shroud of gas that will drift away to join the interstellar medium. What remains will be a white dwarf, a small, dense core that no longer fuses atoms, no longer struggles to generate new energy, but simply sits there, slowly radiating its remaining heat into the void. This white dwarf is a star that has retired, a celestial object that has finished its work and entered a long, quiet period of cooling down. It will shine for eons, gradually dimming, its color shifting from a brilliant white to a soft yellow, then to a deep red, and finally fading into infrared invisibility. It is not dying in a violent sense. It is settling, allowing its temperature to drop until it matches the background chill of the universe, becoming a black dwarf, a monument to a job well done. And the quiet holds. Multiply this process by the hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy, and then by the hundreds of billions of galaxies in the observable universe, and you begin to see the scale of this transition. Everywhere, lights are dimming, not out of failure, but out of completion, as the cosmos slowly turns down the dimmer switch on the grand chandelier of existence. The era of starlight, the time in which we live, is a distinct chapter in the history of the universe, a brief, bright anomaly in a timeline dominated by the dark. This era is characterized by sharp contrasts, bright stars against black space, hot cores against cold crusts. But the universe prefers the blur, the gray, the middle ground, where contrasts dissolve. The flow of time is the flow of these gradients smoothing out, like a drop of ink dispersing in a glass of water, swirling and spreading until the water is a uniform, pale shade. The ink does not disappear. It just stops being a tight, concentrated drop and becomes part of the whole, resting in every corner of the glass simultaneously. And the tide moves gently on. There is a profound beauty in this smoothing out, a sense of fairness in the way nature ensures that energy is shared equally among all available spaces. Nothing is hoarded forever. Every pocket of concentrated energy eventually opens up, unlocking its treasures and distributing them to the empty spaces that need them most. It is a philosophy of total distribution, where the ultimate state is one of perfect equality, where no point in space has more energy than any other point. As the universe expands and cools, the background radiation, the heat left over from the very beginning of time, stretches out, its wavelengths becoming longer and lazier. This cosmic microwave background is already very cold, just a few degrees above absolute zero, but it continues to cool, inching ever closer to the absolute floor of temperature. This cooling is the universe exhaling the last remnants of its birth heat, breathing out the fire of the Big Bang until only a faint, rhythmic hum remains. Still, the universe breathes. We often think of cold as a harsh force, something biting and uncomfortable, but in the context of deep physics, cold is simply the absence of molecular agitation. Heat is vibration, movement, collision. Cold is stillness, stability, and silence. When the universe cools, it is quieting the jittery dance of particles, soothing them into a state where they no longer bounce frantically off one another. The descent into cold is a descent into peace, a calming of the atomic storm that has raged since the first microsecond of existence. In the far, far future, long after the last star has ceased to shine, the universe will enter the degenerate era, a time when the only objects remaining are the remnants of stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes. These objects will drift through a galaxy that has grown dark and wide, moving like silent ships on a calm, black ocean. Occasionally, they might pass near one another, exchanging a gravitational nod, but collisions will be rare, and the frantic interactions of the past will be nothing more than a memory, and silence follows. Even the galaxies themselves will relax their structures, as the stars that compose them slowly peel away or sink toward the center. Interactions between stellar remnants will occasionally fling a dead star out of the galaxy entirely, sending it on a solitary journey into the intergalactic void. This is not an exile, it is a liberation, a release from the gravitational bind of the galactic disk, allowing the star to drift freely in the endless open space. Those remnants that remain bound will spiral inward, losing orbital energy over eons, gradually migrating toward the supermassive black hole that anchors the galactic center. It is a slow gathering, a drawing in of the dispersed matter, tidying up the scattered pieces of the galaxy. The universe is cleaning its room, organizing the debris of the stellar era, putting everything into its proper place before the lights go out completely, and everything rests. During this immense stretch of time, matter itself may begin to feel the tug of entropy in new and subtle ways. Theoretical physics suggests that even the proton, the stable building block of the atomic nucleus, may eventually decay, though the timescale for this is so vast it is almost impossible to comprehend. If this occurs, it means that even the dense, solid matter we know will eventually dissolve into lighter particles and radiation, transforming from something hard and enduring into something light and fleeting. This proton decay would be the ultimate act of letting go, the surrender of the very concept of solidness, as matter unbinds itself and drifts away as pure energy. It is a sublimation, a transformation from the physical to the ethereal, ensuring that nothing remains trapped in a rigid form forever. The universe is ensuring that every knot is untied, every structure is dismantled, and every barrier is removed, leaving only a smooth, unobstructed horizon. The current flows without effort. Meanwhile, the black holes, those enigmatic titans of gravity, will become the primary custodians of the cosmos's remaining entropy. For a long time, they will simply exist, majestic and silent, holding on to the mass. They have gathered over billions of years, but they too are subject to the laws of thermodynamics. They too cannot hoard their energy forever. Through a process known as Hawking radiation, black holes will very slowly, very gently, radiate their mass away into the void. This radiation is incredibly faint, a whisper of energy leaking from the event horizon. But over the unimaginable spans of deep time, it is enough to evaporate the black hole entirely. It is a slow, methodical release, a way for even the most gravity-bound objects to participate in the great spreading out. The black hole gives back what it took, returning its mass to the universe in the form of photons and other particles, contributing to the final equilibrium. And wonder expands. There is no rush in this process. The universe has all the time it needs, an infinite canvas on which to paint this slow fade. The evaporation of a single supermassive black hole takes years numbering in the Googles, a duration that makes the entire history of stars seem like the blink of an eye. This patience is the defining characteristic of the deep future, a refusal to hurry, a commitment to taking as long as necessary to achieve a state of perfect rest. As the black holes evaporate and the last matter decays, the universe approaches the heat death, a term that sounds ominous but is actually quite peaceful. It refers to the state where the universe has reached maximum entropy, where all temperature differences are gone, and no more work can be done. It is the end of change, the end of the ticking clock, the arrival of a timeless stasis where nothing new needs to happen, and the rhythm continues. In this final state, the universe is a sea of low-energy photons and neutrinos, a bath of uniform radiation that stretches endlessly in every direction. There is no up or down, no here or there, no yesterday or tomorrow, only a pervasive, gentle now. The struggle of existence is over. The complexity of life and stars and galaxies has been resolved into a simple, harmonious hum. It is the ultimate sleep, a slumber from which there is no need to wake, because the dreamer has become the dream. Let us step back for a moment from that distant horizon and return to the sensation of the process itself, the feeling of things slowing down. You can feel this in your own body when you lie still, how the frantic beating of the heart gradually finds a slower, steadier cadence, and how the rapid, shallow breaths lengthen into deep, rhythmic waves. The universe is undergoing this same physiological shift, transitioning from the rapid, shallow breaths of the early epoch to the long, deep sighs of the future. It is not stopping, it is simply lengthening its stride, moving with a deliberation that requires less energy and produces more peace, finding the tempo of a lullaby that lasts for eternity. In the language of physics, every action we see around us, every bursting star, every falling leaf, every firing neuron is driven by a difference, a contrast between two states. Energy flows like water down a hill, always moving from where there is a lot of it to where there is less, creating motion and life as it cascades. But just as the water eventually reaches the sea and becomes a flat, calm mirror, energy eventually fills every available hollow. The work of the universe is the water rushing down the hill. The rest of the universe is the sea that waits at the bottom, the place where the rushing stops and the floating begins, and the quiet holds. This flow is what gives time its direction, an arrow that points only one way, always moving toward greater stillness and wider distribution. You cannot unscramble an egg, and you cannot unmix the cream from the coffee, because nature loves the mix, loves the spread, loves the freedom of disorder. To keep things separated and ordered requires effort, a constant input of energy to build walls and maintain boundaries. But to let them mix requires only permission. The universe is slowly granting that permission to every atom, allowing the walls to crumble and the boundaries to fade, so that everything may mingle in a vast, unstructured communion. Imagine a bottle of perfume opened in a large, quiet room. At first, the scent is trapped tightly within the glass, concentrated and strong. When the stopper is removed, the molecules rush out, not because they are pushed, but because they are curious, seeking the empty spaces of the air. Over time, the scent fills the entire room, faint and omnipresent, no longer strong in one place, but present in all places. The energy of the cosmos is that perfume, escaping the bottle of the stars and galaxies, drifting out to sweeten the void, becoming a thin, delicate presence that touches every corner of space equally, and the tide moves gently on. The stars are the primary vessels of this release, the open bottles from which the light pours out into the dark. Inside the core of a star, atoms are crushed together in a desperate embrace, fusing to create heavier elements and releasing photons in the process. It is a violent, crowded environment, a place of immense pressure and urgency, where particles have no room to move without colliding. But the photon, once created, begins a journey of escape, fighting its way to the surface and then leaping free, traveling across the light years to find a place where it can stretch out and be alone. As these photons travel through the expanding universe, a wonderful thing happens to them. They begin to relax. The space through which they move is stretching, and as it stretches, it pulls the waves of light along with it, lengthening them, shifting them from high-energy blue toward low-energy red. This phenomenon, known as redshift, is literally the light getting tired, losing its frantic energy as it travels, settling into a longer, lazier wavelength. By the time light from the distant past reaches us, it has been stretched into invisible radio waves, a soft, low-frequency hum that whispers rather than shouts, and stillness travels through the water. This stretching is caused by the expansion of space itself, a force often attributed to dark energy, a name that sounds mysterious, but simply describes the vacuum's inherent tendency to grow. Think of it not as a forceful push, but as a gentle opening, like a flower unfolding its petals to reveal more surface area. The universe is creating more here between the galaxies, adding new fabric to the quilt of spacetime, effectively pushing the islands of matter farther apart. This increasing distance is a form of insulation, wrapping each galaxy in a thicker blanket of silence, protecting it from the noise of its neighbors. In the deep future, this expansion will accelerate, carrying the distant galaxies away from our view entirely, moving them beyond the horizon of what is observable. The night sky, which now teems with the light of foreign galaxies, will slowly empty out, leaving only the stars of our own local system visible. It will be a time of cosmic privacy, where each galaxy becomes a true island universe, drifting in a sea so wide that no other shores can be seen. This isolation is not lonely. It is a return to a singular focus, a simplification of the view, removing the clutter of the external world, and silence follows. But even as the distant galaxies recede, our own immediate neighborhood, the local group, will draw closer together, bound by the gravity that is stronger than the expansion. The Milky Way and our neighbor Andromeda are currently moving toward each other, destined to meet in a slow, majestic dance billions of years from now. This event is often called a collision, but that word implies violence and impact, which is far from the truth of what will happen. The spaces between stars are so vast that when galaxies meet, they pass through each other like two ghosts, their stars rarely, if ever, touching. Instead of a crash, it will be a merger, a graceful interlacing of spiral arms, a gravitational waltz that swirls the two structures into one. They will swing past each other, loop back, and eventually settle into a single, larger formation, a giant elliptical galaxy often nicknamed Milkomeda. The chaotic spirals, with their dust lanes and distinct arms, will smooth out into a vast golden sphere of light, a shape that is perfectly balanced and stable. It is the universe tidying up, combining two complex, messy systems into one serene, unified whole. The rhythm continues. In this new, great galaxy, the frenzy of star formation will largely come to an end, as the gas clouds that act as stellar nurseries are used up or scattered. The bright blue stars, which live fast and burn hot, will exhaust their fuel and fade away, leaving the population dominated by older, redder stars. The color of the galaxy will shift from the vibrant, cool whites and blues of an active morning to the warm, dim ambers and reds of a late afternoon. It is the visual signal that the day of the galaxy is winding down, that the time of frantic growth is over, and the time of rest has begun. The universe is essentially closing the nursery, putting away the building blocks of new stars, and allowing the existing population to age gracefully. There is a peacefulness in this cessation of birth, a sense that the family is complete, and no new demands will be made on the resources of the galaxy. The noise of supernova explosions and the fierce winds of young giants will be replaced by the steady, unwavering light of the long-lived survivors. The galaxy settles into its retirement, a golden era of stability where the drama of evolution slows to a crawl, and everything softens. Among these survivors, the red dwarfs are the champions of longevity, small, efficient stars that sip their fuel with incredible frugality. While a star like our sun might last 10 billion years, a red dwarf can burn for trillions, glowing steadily long after the rest of the universe has dimmed. These are the lanterns that will light the long night, small campfires huddled against the growing dark, providing warmth for any planets that might orbit them. They represent the virtue of patience, the ability to sustain oneself by moving slowly and consuming little. Imagine standing on a planet orbiting such a star in the deep future. The sky is black and deep, devoid of the distant majestic nebulae we see today. But the sun in the sky is a constant, comforting presence. It hangs there, red and large, bathing the world in a twilight glow that never changes, a perpetual sunset that holds the moment of evening forever. There is no harsh glare, no risk of burning, just a gentle, radiant warmth that permeates the landscape. It is a world of permanent dusk, a time of day that has always been associated with reflection and rest, and light drifts onward. But even these thrifty stars have a limit. Even the red, Dwarfs will eventually exhaust their supply of hydrogen, though it will take a span of time longer than the current age of the universe to happen. When they finally stop, they do not explode. They simply sigh, shrinking down and heating up briefly to become white dwarfs, before beginning the long cool down. One by one, the lights in the galaxy will wink out, not suddenly, but gradually, like candles burning down to the wick in a cathedral. The golden sphere of Milkomeda will dim, its edges fading into the background, its core glowing softly like embers in a dying fire. This marks the transition to the degenerate era, a span of time where the primary residents of the universe are the dense remnant cores of what once were stars. White dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes will be the silent statues in the Museum of the Cosmos, preserving the mass of the past in compact, durable forms. A white dwarf is a marvel of physics, a ball of carbon and oxygen packed so tight that it is essentially a diamond the size of Earth. In the darkness of the future, these cosmic diamonds will drift unseen, crystals of memory floating in the void. And the quiet holds. A neutron star is even denser, a city-sized sphere where protons and electrons have merged to form a superfluid of neutrons spinning rapidly in the dark. Over time, even their rotation slows, the friction of their magnetic fields acting as a brake, gradually bringing the spin to a halt. The glitch of a starquake might occasionally shudder through its crust, settling the matter into a more perfect sphere, smoothing out any irregularities. It is the process of becoming perfectly round, perfectly smooth, removing the wobbles and the imperfections until only symmetry remains. Gravity, the great sculptor of the universe, continues its work in this era, but its touch is lighter, more subtle. Without the radiation pressure of burning stars to push back, gravity gently pulls everything into its most compact form, hugging matter tight. It is a long, slow embrace, a final gathering of the material world, ensuring that nothing is left loose or jagged. The universe is smoothing its sheets, pulling the fabric tight, removing the wrinkles of complexity to prepare for the long sleep. And peace hums through the body. The sky of this era is profoundly dark, a blackness that is rich and velvety, not empty, but full of potential rest. If you were there, floating in that space, you would feel an absolute absence of urgency. There is no clock ticking, no deadline approaching, no sun rising to demand you wake up. The concept of a day has vanished, replaced by a continuous, unbroken duration of being. It is the environment of deep meditation, where the external world offers no distractions, and the mind can settle into a state of pure awareness. We must understand the scale of deep time here. The era of stars is merely the opening credit sequence of the universe's movie. The degenerate era will last for trillions upon trillions of years, a stretch of time so vast that the star-filled universe we know is just a fleeting spark at the beginning. We are living in the burst of the match. The deep future is the long, slow drift of the smoke. This realization is humbling, but also liberating, for it tells us that the natural state of the universe is not the chaotic fire, but the enduring calm that follows, and everything rests. As the white dwarfs cool, they undergo a transformation of color, shifting through the spectrum until they pass out of the visible range entirely. A white dwarf becomes a black dwarf, a theoretical object that has not yet had time to form in our young universe. It is a star that has achieved perfect thermal equilibrium with the surrounding space, a cold, dark sphere that emits no light and no heat. It simply is, a solid anchor of matter that has finished its energetic journey and arrived at its destination. This is the ultimate retirement for a star, a state of total neutrality, where it neither gives nor takes energy from its environment. It has paid its debts, finished its work, and now rests in the black velvet of space, indistinguishable from the dark around it. There are no more reactions to sustain, no more gravity to fight, just a crystalline lattice of carbon sitting in the quiet. It is a beautiful image, the universe populated by these silent, sleeping sentinels, preserving the history of the light within their dark, cold hearts. The current flows, without effort. In this landscape of black dwarfs, The universe has become a place of tactile reality rather than visual spectacle, a realm where presence is defined by mass and gravity rather than light. If you were to drift through this era, you would not see the stars, but you might feel the faint, gravitational ripple of their passing, a gentle tug that whispers, "I am here." It is a game of hide and seek played in the dark, where the hidden objects have no desire to be found, content to exist in their own private spheres of influence. The need to broadcast one's existence, to shine and dazzle across the light years, has been replaced by the quiet confidence of simply being. Occasionally, in this vast, quiet dark, two of these silent remnants might drift close enough to merge, driven by the release of gravitational waves that spiral them inward. When two white dwarfs meet in this way, they may ignite one final brief fusion event, a supernova that blooms like a solitary flower in the desert night. It is a fleeting return of the old ways, a momentary reminder of the fire that once was. But the universe quickly absorbs the energy, smoothing the ripple back into the calm surface. The light flares and fades, a brief spark that underscores the permanence of the surrounding dark, emphasizing the silence rather than breaking it, and the quiet deepens. These rare events become the punctuation marks in a long, unwritten sentence of time, spaces between the words that stretch for eons. The universe is no longer a roaring conversation of energy. It is a series of long, thoughtful pauses where nothing needs to be said because everything is understood. The density of events has thinned out, leaving room for a profound stillness to settle between the moments of action. It is the feeling of a house at 3 in the morning, where the settling of a floorboard or the hum of the refrigerator is the only evidence of time passing. As the eons unroll, we approach a theoretical horizon that touches the very stability of matter itself, the potential decay of the proton. For a long time, physics believed the proton to be eternal, the unshakable foundation of the atom. But in the deep quest for equilibrium, even the foundation stones may eventually decide to rest. If protons do decay, it means that ordinary matter, the stuff of rocks, planets, and black dwarfs, is not a permanent state, but a temporary crystallization of energy that will eventually melt. It suggests that solidity is just a phase, like ice is a phase of water, destined to return to a more fluid, flowing state, and stillness widens its reach. Imagine a sculpture made of ice, standing in a cool, shaded room. For a long time, it holds its shape, sharp and defined, but slowly, molecule by molecule, the ice sublimates, turning directly into vapor, drifting away into the air without ever creating a puddle. Proton decay is the universe's way of sublimating the solid world, allowing the trapped energy within the atoms to mist away into the void. It is a gentle dissolution, a release of the bindings that held the particles in tight formation, granting them the freedom to disperse as light and radiation. This process would mean that eventually, the black dwarfs, those silent crystal monuments, will slowly fade away from the inside out. They will lose their mass not through violent shedding, but through this quiet evaporation, their substance transforming into a fine mist of particles that spreads, thin, across the cosmos. The stuff of the universe is becoming less clotted, less lumpy, smoothing out into a uniform field where no one part is denser than another. It is the ultimate act of decluttering, removing the furniture of the universe so that the space itself can be the focus. The orbit holds. If this decay occurs, it will happen on timescales that defy human arithmetic, a duration so long that the entire history of life on Earth is less than a heartbeat in comparison. The universe is in no hurry to dissolve its matter. It performs this task with the infinite patience of a glacier carving a valley. There is no violence in it, only a slow, steady transition from being something to being everything, from being a localized object to being a universal presence. The particle that was once locked in a rock is now a wave of light, traveling the breadth of creation. While the matter dissolves, the expansion of space continues its relentless, gentle stretching, pulling the fabric of the universe taut. This expansion ensures that the products of decay, the photons and leptons, are carried far apart, preventing them from ever clumping back together. The universe is ensuring that the past cannot be rebuilt, that the direction of time remains committed to the future, to the open and the empty. It is a promise that we are not moving in circles, repeating the same patterns, but moving forward into something new, something vast and clear. And silence follows. In this thinning cosmos, the only objects that remain immune to proton decay are the black holes, the gravitational anchors that have swallowed the mass of galaxies. As ordinary matter fades into radiation, the black holes enter their golden age, becoming the undisputed monarchs of the dark. They do not need light to exist. They are structures of pure geometry, curves in the fabric of space-time that hold their shape through the sheer force of their own curvature. They are the quietest things in nature, consuming all noise and giving back nothing but silence. These black holes will drift through the expanding void, huge and solitary, the last reservoirs of the universe's memory. They have gathered the debris of the stellar era, the gas and the dust and the broken stars, and locked it all away safely behind the event horizon. In a way, they are the vaults of the cosmos, preserving the mass energy of the past in a form that is perfectly stable and perfectly simple. A black hole has no complex chemistry, no biological messiness. It has only mass, spin, and charge, a clean, elegant, final state for matter, and everything rests in its place. Yet, even these titans of stability are not exempt from the universal law of sharing. Even they must eventually bow to the principle of entropy. This brings us to the most poetic mechanism in deep physics, Hawking radiation, the process by which black holes slowly breathe their energy back into the universe. It is based on the uncertainty of quantum mechanics, which allows particles to tunnel out of the prison of gravity, escaping the inescapable. It is a very slow leak, a microscopic evaporation that allows the black hole to gradually lose mass over eons. Think of a droplet of water evaporating on a cool day. It does not boil or splash. It simply diminishes, molecule by invisible molecule, until it is gone. The black holes are evaporating into the background, turning their immense mass back into a bath of low-energy radiation. This is the universe, reclaiming the energy it lent to gravity, smoothing out the deep pits in the fabric of space-time until the sheet is flat once more. It is a restoration of the surface, a healing of the ruptures caused by extreme density. And the rhythm continues. The rate of this evaporation is inversely proportional to the size of the black hole, meaning the largest ones, the supermassive giants, evaporate the most slowly. They will endure for years, numbering in the googles, standing as the last witnesses to the passage of time. But as they shrink, they get warmer, their radiation becoming slightly brighter, a faint glow in the absolute dark. In their final moments, eons from now, they will disappear in a flash of gamma rays, a final bow before exiting the stage. But for the vast majority of their existence, the process is silent and invisible, a dark star fading into a darker sky. This era, the black hole era, is the longest chapter in the story of the universe, a span of time where gravity is the only sculptor left. It is a time of profound simplicity, where the complex interactions of chemistry and biology are long forgotten, replaced by the pure, abstract interactions of space-time geometry. It is physics stripped to its barest bones, elegant and austere, and peace lingers. There is a comfort in this simplicity, a sense of relief that the frantic complexity of the molecular world has finally been resolved. In our current era, atoms are constantly bonding and breaking, electrons are jumping, orbits and cells are dividing in a chaotic dance of life. In the black hole era, the dance is over. The dancers have left the floor and the hall is empty, silent, and grand. The tension of holding complex structures together is gone, replaced by the relaxation of the void. During this time, the universe is not dead. It is merely resting in a state of minimal activity, like a hibernating animal waiting out the winter. The energy is still there, but it is spread so thin, diluted across such vast distances, that it can no longer do the heavy lifting of building stars. It is retirement on a cosmic scale, where the assets of the universe have been liquidated and distributed, allowing the system to live off the interest of its own existence. The urgency to do has been replaced by the permission to be. The current flows without effort. Imagine yourself floating in this era, a consciousness without a body, observing the vast distances between the fading giants. The silence is not an absence of sound, but a presence of peace, a thick, comforting blanket that dampens all vibration. There is no friction here, no resistance, nothing to push against and nothing pushing back. You are drifting in a medium of pure potential, a space that is waiting, not for something to happen, but for the very idea of happening to fade away. This is the definition of equilibrium, a state where all forces are balanced, where there is no net flow of energy, no gradient to drive change. In our lives, we are constantly seeking balance, between work and rest, between giving and taking, but we rarely achieve it perfectly. The universe, however, is destined for perfect balance, a state where every equation equals zero, and every scale is level. It is the mathematical definition of satisfaction, where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess, and still it turns. As the black holes slowly evaporate, they enrich the universe one last time with a bath of photons and particles, a final gift of light to the dark. This radiation spreads out, joining the cosmic background, becoming part of the faint thermal hum that pervades all of space. The distinction between matter and empty space becomes meaningless, as everything is converted into this smooth, uniform field of energy. The universe becomes a single, seamless entity, without edges or boundaries, a whole without parts. It is a return to the unity of the beginning, but without the heat and the pressure. It is the symmetry of the Big Bang, but cooled and relaxed. The cycle of creation and destruction has resolved into a straight line of endurance. The drama of the cosmos was just a temporary fluctuation, a ripple on the surface of a deep, still pond. Now the water is becoming glass again, reflecting the nothingness with perfect clarity, and the quiet holds. Even time itself begins to lose its meaning in this uniform world. Time is measured by change, by the ticking of a clock, the rotation of a planet, the beat of a heart. When there are no more events, no more changes to mark the passage of moments, time stretches out, becoming indistinguishable from eternity. A second, a year, and a trillion years become the same thing, just a measure of the enduring stillness. The universe has stepped out of the river of time and is sitting on the bank, watching the water flow away. This is the ultimate freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of the schedule, from the pressure of the deadline. In this timeless state, there is no late and no early, only now. The anxiety of the future dissolves because the future is exactly the same as the present. It is a state of perpetual presence, a mindfulness that lasts forever, where the universe is fully aware of its own repose, and life adjusts once more. In this vast quiet, we enter what cosmologists call the photon age, a period where the universe is populated almost exclusively by particles of light. These photons are the ancient travelers of the cosmos, remnants of stars and black holes, drifting through the darkness without a destination. Because the universe has expanded so much, the density of these particles is incredibly low, meaning they can travel for billions of light years without ever encountering another object. It is a lonely journey perhaps, but it is also a journey of absolute freedom, an unimpeded flight through the open architecture of space. Imagine walking through a dense forest where the trees are constantly blocking your path, forcing you to turn and weave. That is the universe of today, crowded and obstinate. Now imagine that forest clearing, the trees thinning out until there is only one tree every 1,000 miles, leaving a boundless plain of open grass. This is the universe of the photon age, a landscape of clearance where the obstacles have been removed and the path is always open. The light does not need to dodge or weave. It simply moves in a straight, true line, carrying its energy forward into the infinite. And stillness travels through the water. This thinning out of the universe brings with it a profound drop in temperature, pushing the cosmos ever closer to the theoretical floor of existence known as absolute zero. In our daily lives, temperature is something we battle, adjusting thermostats and adding layers. But in the deep future, temperature becomes a constant, unchanging baseline. Absolute zero is the point where all thermal motion stops, where atoms would theoretically stand perfectly still, locked in a frozen tableau. While the laws of quantum mechanics prevent the universe from ever hitting this point exactly, it will get closer than we can possibly imagine. The descent toward this frozen state is not a harsh freezing, but a gentle slowing, a reduction of the energetic jitter that characterizes warm matter. It is the universe calming its nerves, stopping the trembling of its particles, settling into a composure that is as smooth as glass. Heat is a form of noise, a chaotic vibration that disrupts structure. Cold is the absence of that noise, a pristine silence where everything is preserved in crystal clarity. The Big Freeze is simply the universe becoming a perfect archive, a place where nothing changes because nothing moves to disturb the peace. And silence follows. In this deep cold, the concept of interaction becomes a relic of the past, a memory of a time when things bumped into each other. For a particle in this era, the mean free path, the average, distance it travels before hitting something, becomes effectively infinite, larger than the observable universe itself. This means that every particle is living in its own private universe, unaware of the others, drifting in a solitude that is complete and unbroken. It is the ultimate social distancing, a separation so vast that conflict, friction, and collision are physically impossible. This isolation sounds melancholy to the human heart, which craves connection, but in the physics of rest, it is the definition of tranquility. Friction is the source of wear and tear, the force that grinds mountains down and wears out engines. Without friction, there is no degradation. A particle drifting in the void does not age, does not weather, does not tire. It simply exists, timeless and pristine, suspended in the amber of the vacuum. The universe has stopped grinding its gears and has shifted into a neutral glide that preserves its state forever. The rhythm continues as the temperature creates. This stillness, the expansion of space, continues to smooth out any remaining irregularities in the fabric of the cosmos. Gravity, which once pulled things together to form clumps and clusters, has been overcome by the sheer vastness of the distances involved. The valleys and hills of the gravitational landscape are being stretched flat, transforming the universe from a rugged terrain into a level plain. It is the ironing out of space-time, removing the creases of mass to leave a surface that is perfectly flat and featureless. This flatness is a geometric perfection, a restoration of the Euclidean ideal, where parallel lines never meet and triangles always add up to 180 degrees. The distorted, curved space of the Einsteinian universe, warped by heavy stars and black holes, relaxes back into a simpler shape. It is as if the universe has been holding its breath, sucking in its stomach to accommodate the heavy matter, and now it can finally exhale and let its geometry return to a natural, relaxed state, and everything rests. There is a distinct kind of beauty in this minimalism, an aesthetic of emptiness that resembles the clean lines of modern architecture or the spare brushstrokes of Zen calligraphy. The universe is shedding the Baroque complexity of the stellar era, with its swirling nebulas and chaotic star clusters, in favor of a clean, dark void. It is not an emptiness of lack, but an emptiness of potential, a canvas that has been wiped clean of the scribbles of history. In Psyche, this dark, there is no visual clutter, no distraction, just the pure, unadulterated presence of space itself. We often fear the dark because it hides things, but in this future era, there is nothing left to hide, no monsters in the closet, no dangers lurking in the shadows. The dark is simply the natural color of the universe when it is not being agitated, the restful shade of a system at peace. It is the color of sleep, the color of the eyelids closing, the color of the mind drifting away from the bright lights of the day. To look into this dark is to look into the deepest form of comfort, a place where the eyes do not need to work, and the tide moves gently on. Even in this apparent nothingness, quantum mechanics tells us that the vacuum is alive with subtle activity, a bubbling foam of virtual particles popping in and out of existence. This vacuum energy is the heartbeat of empty space, a faint, rhythmic fluctuation that ensures the universe is never truly dead. It is a background, a static on the radio of reality, proving that even in the deepest sleep, the cosmos still possesses a vital spark. It is the breath of the void, a low-level vitality that sustains the fabric of reality even when all the stars are gone. This energy does not do work. It does not build stars or drive engines. It simply sustains the stage, keeping the lights of potentiality on. It suggests that the universe is not an object that dies, but a field that endures, a medium that can carry waves and particles or simply carry itself. The heat death is not the destruction of the stage, but the end of the play. The actors have gone home, the sets have been struck, but the theatre remains, standing silent and grand in the night, and stillness travels through the water. If we look closely at the timeline, there is an alternative possibility for the matter that does not decay, a path known as the formation of the iron star. If protons do not decay, then over unimaginable eons, the atoms in a cold sphere of matter will undergo quantum tunneling, rearranging themselves into the most stable element, iron. Through a process called cold fusion, lighter elements will slowly fuse, and heavier elements will slowly fission, all moving toward the atomic perfection of iron 56. It is a slow alchemy, the universe transmuting the chaos of the periodic table into a single, durable metal. These iron stars would be cold, dark, and incredibly dense, spheres of pure metal floating in the black, the ultimate relics of the atomic age. They represent a universe that has turned to stone, or rather, to steel, freezing the fluid complexity of matter into a permanent, unyielding form. It is a vision of absolute stability, where the fluid, changing world of biology and chemistry has hardened into a monument that will never erode. It is the universe casting itself in bronze, preserving its mass in a statue that lasts for eternity, and silence follows. But whether the future holds a mist of radiation or a gallery of iron spheres, the emotional resonance remains the same, a movement toward permanence. The fleeting nature of our current existence, where flowers wilt and mountains crumble, is replaced by a reality that endures. We spend our lives trying to build things that last, stone houses, written words, memories, fighting against the tide of decay. In the deep future, the battle is won. The universe achieves a state where things no longer break, because they have reached their final, unbreakable form. This permanence is the ultimate safety, a guarantee that the ground will not shift beneath your feet, that the rules will not change overnight. In a world of constant flux, we crave stability, and the heat death is the delivery of that stability on a cosmic scale. It is the universe promising that it will eventually stop shaking, stop changing, and simply hold you in a steady, unwavering embrace. The orbit holds. Let this concept of stability wash over you now, soothing the parts of your mind that worry about the future and the changes it brings. Realize that change is just the turbulence of the river, and that the river eventually widens into the sea, where the water is deep and calm. You are part of this flow, part of this great settling, and the atoms in your body are on the same journey toward rest as the stars above you. There is no separation between your need for sleep and the universe's need for equilibrium. They are the same force, the same desire for peace. As you lie there, you can feel your own body seeking this equilibrium, your temperature regulating, your muscles releasing their stored tension. You are a microcosm of the cooling cosmos, a small system finding its own heat death for the night, letting go of the energy of the day. Sleep is a temporary surrender to entropy, a letting go of the order and control we maintain while awake. It is a safe practice for the ultimate rest, a nightly rehearsal of the art of doing nothing. And everything rests in its place. Consider the silence of the room around you. It is not empty, but full of the absence of noise, a positive quality that supports your rest. Just as the universe expands to create more silence between the galaxies, you can expand your awareness to create more silence between your thoughts. Let the thoughts drift apart, like galaxies moving away from each other, until there is a vast, quiet space between them. In this space, there is no worry, no planning, only the gentle hum of your own existence, the background radiation of your being. The expansion of your mental space allows the tension to evaporate, just as the black holes evaporate into the void. You do not need to hold on to anything right now. You can let the gravity of the day fade. Let the heavy concerns radiate away until they are just faint signals in the distance. You are entering your own dark era, a time of private peace where the outside world cannot reach you. It is a sanctuary of low energy, a place where you are free to simply float. The rhythm continues, and just as the universe takes its time, measuring its changes in eons and epochs, you too can take your time. There is no rush to fall asleep, no deadline to meet in the dark. The night is long and patient. The universe has waited billions of years to reach its current state, and it will wait trillions more for the final calm. You have hours of protected time, a vast stretch of quiet in which to let your mind wander and settle. Allow yourself to drift on this current of slowness, feeling the breaking force of the night slowing your momentum. The frenetic speed of the waking world is artificial. The slow, glacial pace of the cosmos is the true reality. By slowing down, you are aligning yourself with the fundamental truth of physics, moving in harmony with the great unwinding of all things. You are not falling behind. You are returning to the rhythm of the deep, and peace hums through the body. In this expansive state of rest, we find ourselves confronting the very nature of memory and information. Just as a sleeper forgets the specific details of the day as they drift into dreams, the universe is slowly forgetting the specific details of its history. The distinct arrangements of atoms that made a cup, a chair, or a star are lost, dissolved into a general soup of particles that holds no record of what it used to be. This loss of information is not a tragedy, but a release, a laying down of the burden of identity. It is the freedom of anonymity, where nothing is expected to be anything specific anymore. We spend so much of our energy trying to remember, trying to keep track of names, dates, and obligations, holding the structure of our lives together with the glue of memory. But the universe shows us that it is okay to let go, to allow the sharp edges of the past to soften into the blur of the present. In the heat death, there is no history book, no record of wars or struggles, only the peaceful aftermath of a story that has been fully told. The universe has closed the book and placed it on the shelf, content to sit in the quiet room without reading it again, and everything softens. This process of forgetting is driven by the scramble for equilibrium, the desire of nature to mix everything so thoroughly that no patterns remain. A pattern is a form of tension, a deviation from the average, and nature hates tension. It loves the average, the smooth, the featureless. To erase a pattern is to solve a problem, to iron out a wrinkle in the fabric of reality. The universe is smoothing out the wrinkles of existence, ensuring that the sheet of space-time is perfectly crisp and clean. Think of a sandcastle built on the edge of the tide. It is intricate, detailed, and beautiful, but it requires constant maintenance to exist. When the tide comes in, it washes over the castle, not out of malice, but out of the water's nature to be level. The sand does not vanish, it simply spreads out, returning to the smooth, flat beach from which it rose. The universe is that tide, slowly washing over the castles of matter, returning them to the level beach of energy, leaving the sand pristine and untouched once more. The current flows without effort. As the patterns dissolve, the arrow of time begins to waver. Without change, without the breaking of eggs or the melting of ice, there is no way to tell the difference between forwards and backwards. In a universe of perfect equilibrium, a movie played in reverse looks exactly the same as a movie played forward. Time loses its direction, becoming a stationary dimension, a lake rather than a river. We are used to time dragging us forward, rushing us toward the next moment. But here, time stops pulling. This cessation of the flow of time is the ultimate pause button, a state where the moment hangs suspended forever. It is the feeling of a Sunday afternoon nap where you wake up and do not know what time it is, and for a moment, it does not matter. The universe is entering an eternal Sunday afternoon, a stretch of duration that has no agenda and no ticking clock. It is the liberation from the tyranny of the calendar, a freedom from the very concept of late, and stillness travels through the water. In this timeless state, the physical laws that govern the active universe, gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces, find themselves with nothing to do. Gravity has pulled everything it can pull. Electromagnetism has balanced every charge. The nuclear forces have bound or decayed every nucleus. The forces of nature retire, their jobs completed, their offices closed. They exist as potentials, as rules written in the fabric of space, but they are no longer active agents of change. This retirement of the forces creates a dynamic silence, a stillness that is not empty, but poised. It is like the silence of an orchestra after the final note has been played, where the musicians are still sitting there, holding their instruments, but the air is still. The music of the cosmos has ended, but the capacity for music remains, locked in the quiet potential of the void. It is a respectful silence, a recognition that the performance was long and grand, and now the hall deserves to rest, and silence follows. If there were a conscious observer in this era, they would experience a profound sense of weightlessness, not just physical, but existential. Without the pull of obligations, without the push of desires, the mind would float in a state of pure neutrality. We often define ourselves by our struggles, by what we are fighting for or against, but in the absence of struggle, we are simply ourselves. The universe is showing us that existence does not require conflict. It is possible to simply be, without needing to overcome anything. This weightlessness is the physical manifestation of peace, the removal of all burdens that press down upon the soul. When gravity has nothing left to pull, there is no down anymore, no heavy direction in which to fall. You are supported by the vacuum itself, held in place by the lack of any force trying to move you. It is the ultimate safety net, a reality where you cannot fall because there is nowhere to fall to, and everything rests. The temperature of this final state is a uniform hum, a low-energy bath that permeates every cubic inch of space. It is a cosmic blanket, wrapping the entire universe in a single, consistent warmth, or rather, a consistent cool. There are no cold drafts and no hot spots, just a perfect, even temperature that never fluctuates. It is the comfort of a bed that has been warmed to your exact body heat, where the boundary between your skin and the sheets disappears. In this thermal equilibrium, the universe has achieved the highest possible state of entropy, which sounds technical, but simply means it has achieved the highest possible state of comfort. It has arranged itself in the most probable, most relaxed configuration, where no atom is out of place because every place is the same. It is the feng shui of the cosmos, a rearrangement of furniture until the energy flow is perfectly stagnant and serene. The rhythm continues. And yet, even in this stillness, the sheer scale of the universe remains a source of wonder. The distances between the particles are vast, a darkness that stretches for billions of light years. This darkness is not oppressive, it is spacious, a cathedral of night that offers infinite room for the mind to expand. When you close your eyes, you create a small version of this dark space, a private universe behind your eyelids where you can retreat from the world. The deep future is simply that private universe writ large, a cosmic closing of the eyes. It is the universe turning its attention inward, focusing on its own internal state rather than the external display of stars. It is a meditative trance that lasts forever, a withdrawal of the senses into the deep core of being. The lights have been dimmed not to hide the world, but to allow the universe to sleep without distraction. And peace hums through the body. The notion of dark energy takes on a final, victorious role here, having successfully pushed the boundaries of the universe beyond the reach of any signal. It has created a horizon of absolute solitude for every point in space, ensuring that nothing can ever disturb the peace of anything else. It is the ultimate noise-cancelling headphone, blocking out the rest of the creation so that every particle can enjoy perfect quiet. This isolation is a form of protection, a quarantine against chaos, In the active universe, things are constantly crashing into each other, disturbing each other's orbits, stealing each other's energy. In the expanded universe, everyone is safe in their own bubble of space, protected by the insurmountable distance. It is a peace treaty enforced by the geometry of space-time, ensuring that aggression is physically impossible, and the tide moves gently on. We must also consider the fate of time dilation in this context. As gravity smooths out and mass evaporates, the warping of time disappears. Clocks in one part of the universe tick at exactly the same rate as clocks in another part, synchronizing the entire cosmos into a single temporal frame. It is a return to a universal now, a shared moment that encompasses all of existence. This synchronization is a form of harmony, a bringing together of the disparate rhythms of the universe into one steady beat. During the stellar era, time moved fast near black holes and slow in the void. It was a cacophony of different tempos. Now, the metronome is set to a single, slow adagio, and every particle moves in time with the cosmic conductor. It is the soothing regularity of a heartbeat, steady and predictable, and the quiet holds. As we drift deeper into this concept, let us acknowledge the beauty of the grey. The universe is no longer black and white, light and dark. It is a uniform, low-energy grey. In art, grey is the colour of balance, the mediator between extremes, the colour of shadows and mist. The universe has painted a masterpiece of minimalism, using a single shade to express the entirety of existence. This greyness is soft on the eyes, a visual hush that calms the optical nerve. It is the colour of twilight, of the sky before a storm, of the fog that wraps the world in mystery. It suggests a blurring of boundaries, a softening of the hard lines that define our waking reality. In the fog, you can only see what is right in front of you. The rest of the world fades away, leaving you in a small, intimate circle of clarity, and light drifts onward. The heat death is thus not a death in the biological sense, but a settling in the geological sense. It is the stone coming to rest at the bottom of the hill, the dust settling after the wind has died down. It is the state of maximum stability, where the system has found its lowest energy point and decided to stay there. It is the universe finding its comfortable groove and settling in for the long haul. We spend our lives looking for this groove, for the place where we fit perfectly, where we don't have to struggle to maintain our position. The universe has found it for us, blazing a trail toward the ultimate comfort zone. It teaches us that the goal of all activity is eventually to stop, to find a place where we can simply be without doing, and everything rests in its place. Even the quantum fluctuations, those tiny bubbles of energy in the vacuum, are part of this peaceful landscape. They are like the gentle rise and fall of a sleeper's chest, a sign of life that does not disturb the sleep. They provide a texture to the nothingness, a subtle grain in the wood of the void. They remind us that stillness is not absence, but a different kind of presence. The universe is full, even when it is empty. It is full of space, full of time, full of potential. It is a cup that has been emptied of wine so that it can be filled with air. The air is invisible, but it is there, occupying the space, holding the shape of the cup. The vacuum is the air of the cosmos, the invisible substance that holds the shape of reality. The current flows without effort. So, as you visualize this vast, cool, dark expanse, feel the corresponding coolness in your own mind. Imagine your thoughts slowing down, their temperature dropping, their frantic motion ceasing. Let the heat of the day dissipate into the cool night air, leaving your mind clear and still. You are expanding, creating space between your worries, pushing them away until they are over the horizon. You are entering a state of high entropy, where your mental energy is evenly distributed, where there are no spikes of anxiety or pits of despair. You are a smooth, calm sea, reflecting the dark sky above. There is no wind to stir the waves, no moon to pull the tides, just a flat, glassy surface that mirrors the infinite peace of the cosmos. And wonder expands. In this realm of absolute equilibrium, we must reconsider the very definition of emptiness. We are conditioned to view empty space as something that lacks, a container waiting to be filled. But in the deep future, emptiness is a substance in its own right. It is a rich, heavy velvet that supports everything within it, a medium of pure potential that has decided not to manifest. When you clear a table of all its clutter, you do not focus on the lack of objects. You admire the smooth, clean surface of the wood. The universe is clearing its table, revealing the beautiful, dark grain of space-time that has been hidden beneath the clutter of stars for so long. This revelation of the underlying structure is a moment of truth, a stripping away of the decorations to show the foundation. The stars, for all their brilliance, were merely the decorations, the temporary sparks that distracted from the vast, enduring reality of the void. Now, the sparks are gone, and the reality remains, solid and undeniable. It is a return to the basics, to the fundamental ground state of existence, where nothing is superfluous and nothing is wasted, and the quiet holds. Think of the relief that comes when a loud, complex piece of music finally resolves into a single, long, sustained note. The tension of the melody, the conflict of the harmonies, the rush of the tempo, all of it washes away into that one steady, unwavering tone. The universe is that. Final note, a deep, resonant hum that stretches out forever, holding the memory of the music without needing to repeat it. It is a drone of infinite peace, a sound that does not change because it has found the perfect pitch. This sonic metaphor is more than poetry, it is physics. The universe began with a bang, a cacophony of frequencies and vibrations, and it is ending with a hum, a low-frequency ripple of long wavelengths. The journey from the bang to the hum is the journey from chaos to order, from noise to silence. You are listening to the fade-out of the greatest song ever played, and the silence that follows is the applause of eternity, and stillness travels through the water. In this deep silence, the concept of waiting loses its anxiety. Usually when we wait, we are waiting for something, for a bus, for a call, for a change. But in the heat death, there is nothing to wait for, because nothing more is coming. This realization transforms waiting into resting. It changes the expectation of the future into the appreciation of the present. The universe is not holding its breath for the next event. It is exhaling, fully and completely, content to simply sit in the aftermath. This absence of anticipation is the cure for all restlessness. If you know that the moment you are in is the only moment there is, the urge to rush forward evaporates. You can settle into the now with your whole weight, sinking into it like a soft armchair. The universe has created a forever now, a temporal sanctuary where the clock does not demand progress. It is the ultimate permission to stop striving and simply exist, and silence follows. Let us look again at the darkness, not as a lack of photons, but as a restful color for the mind. Bright light is stimulating. It demands the eye to focus, the pupil to contract, the brain to process. Darkness is permissive. It allows the eye to relax, the pupil to dilate, the brain to drift. The dark universe is a visual lullaby, a softening of the sensory input that allows the consciousness to turn inward. It is the closing of the curtains so that the room can sleep. This cosmic darkness is soft, not hard. It is fluid, not rigid. It wraps around the remaining particles like a warm fluid, cushioning them, suspending them. It is an ocean of night, deep and buoyant, where gravity has lost its grip and everything floats. To float is to surrender control, to trust the medium to hold you up. The universe is trusting the dark to hold it, and the dark is faithful, supporting every quantum of energy with infinite gentleness. The rhythm continues. As the universe cools, it creates a symmetry with the cooling of your own body as you drift towards sleep. When you lie down, your core temperature drops slightly, a biological signal that the time for action is over and the time for restoration has begun. You are mimicking the cosmos, lowering your energy state to align with the night, the heat of your thoughts, the friction of your worries. All of it cools down, dispersing into the quiet air of the room. This synchronization between the micro and the macro is a reminder that you are a child of this universe, built from the same laws and subject to the same cycles. Your need for rest is a reflection of the universe's need for entropy. You are not fighting against the nature of things when you sleep. You are fulfilling it. You are participating in the great, slow cooling that is the destiny of all things, and everything rests. Consider the event horizon of a black hole one last time, a boundary beyond which no information can return. In the deep future, every point in space has its own cosmic horizon, a limit to what can be seen or known. This shrinking of the observable world is a form of focus, a narrowing of the aperture. It draws the attention to the immediate, to the center, shutting out the distractions of the periphery. When you sleep, you draw your own horizon closer. You pull your attention away from the world, away from the room, until it resides only within you. You become a small, self-contained universe, drifting in the private dark. This withdrawal is necessary for renewal. You cannot recharge if you are constantly connected to the grid. The universe is disconnecting from the grid, unplugging the stars to save energy, entering a low power mode that preserves its essence, and the tide moves gently on. There is a profound dignity in this slow fade. It is not a collapse or a failure, but a graceful exit, a bowing out after a magnificent performance. The universe does not cling to its youth. It accepts its age with nobility, wearing the darkness like a royal cloak. It teaches us that there is beauty in every stage of existence, even the final ones. The quiet dignity of the heat death is a lesson in acceptance, a demonstration of how to let go with grace. We often cling to things, to moments, to people, to youth, fearing that their loss diminishes us. But the universe shows that loss is just transformation, that fading is just a change of state. The light that fades is not destroyed, it is redistributed, shared with the void. The warmth that leaves the star warms the space around it. Nothing is ever truly lost. It is just given away, a generosity that ensures the equilibrium of the whole. The current flows, without effort. As you drift in this narrative, notice how your own breathing has likely slowed, matching the cadence of these words, matching the rhythm of the cooling. Stars. The breath is the anchor of the body, the metronome that sets the pace for the heart and the mind. By slowing the breath, you signal to your entire system that you are safe, that there is no predator, no danger, no urgency. You are telling your body that it is time to enter the degenerate era, the time of low energy and high peace. Inhale slowly, imagining you are drawing in the vast, cool space of the future. Exhale gently, imagining you are releasing the heat and density of the past. With each breath, you are expanding your own internal universe, creating more room for silence. You are diluting the stress, spreading it out until it is so thin it can no longer be felt. You are becoming vast, empty, and calm, and stillness travels through the water. The concept of dark energy pushing the universe apart can be seen as a force of gentle separation, creating healthy distance between things. Sometimes to find peace, we need distance. Distance from noise, distance from demands, distance from the crowd. The universe provides this distance physically, pushing the galaxies apart so they can have their own space. It is the ultimate respect for personal boundaries, ensuring that every object has the room it needs to be itself without interference. This expansion creates a sense of liberation. You are not crowded, you are not hemmed in. There is infinite room to move, infinite room to breathe. The walls have been knocked down, the ceiling has been lifted, and the sky goes on, forever. In this open space, the mind can unspool, releasing the tight knots of thought and letting them drift away like ribbons in a breeze, and silence follows. In the language of thermodynamics, this final state is often called the big freeze. But do not think of ice, think of crystal. Think of a clarity so perfect that light passes through it without distortion. A frozen lake is a mirror, a surface that reflects the sky with absolute fidelity. The universe is becoming a mirror, a perfect reflector of existence, quiet and still. Under the surface of this frozen lake, the water is deep and dark, protected from the wind. Your consciousness is sinking into that deep water, away from the surface turbulence, down into the crushing quiet of the deep. Here, the pressure is a hug, a uniform force that holds you together. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets, until the surface world is just a memory of a rumor, and the quiet holds. The photons that travel through this crystal universe are like thoughts passing through a meditative mind. They are there, but they do not stick. They pass through without creating ripples, without disturbing the stillness. You can observe them. There goes a thought. There goes a photon. But you do not need to grab them or analyze them. You simply let them pass, watching them fade into the distance. This non-attachment is the key to deep rest. You are not the traffic controller of the universe. You are the sky through which the traffic flies. The sky does not get tired of the planes. It simply holds them and lets them go. You are the vast, dark sky of the future, holding the last few particles of thought, letting them drift toward the horizon. And everything softens. Even the laws of physics themselves seem to relax in this era. The fierce equations of the early universe, which governed fusion and explosion, have simplified into the gentle equations of radiation and cooling. The math becomes easier, cleaner, less frantic. The universe is solving its own problems, balancing its own books, reaching the final solution of zero. Zero is a beautiful number. It is the circle, the hole, the empty space. It is the number of total balance, where positives and negatives cancel each other out. To reach zero is to reach home, to return to the origin. The universe started from nothing and returns to nothing. Not a nothing of non-existence, but a nothing of perfect balance. It is a full circle, a journey that ends where it began, but with the added richness of the journey itself. The orbit holds. As we near the end of our exploration of this deep time, feel the finality of it settling into your bones. It is a good weight, a grounding heaviness that keeps you from floating away into anxiety. It is the weight of a heavy blanket, the weight of a sleeping cat on your legs, the weight of trust. You can trust this process. The universe has been doing this for 13.8 billion years, and it will continue for trillions more. It knows the way to the dark. You are being carried by a river that is slowing down as it nears the sea. The rapids are behind you. The waterfalls are a distant memory. The water here is wide, slow, and deep, moving with a power that does not need to show off. You can stop swimming now. You can lift your feet and let the current take you. It is moving toward the horizon of sleep, and it will carry you there safely. And peace hums through the body. The stars above you, if you could see them, are whispering the same message. Rest now. We are resting too. The galaxies are drifting to sleep. The black holes are closing their eyes. The very fabric of space is loosening its belt. You are in good company. The entire cosmos is your bedtime companion, breathing in time with you, slowing down with you, settling into the long, sweet dark. And as the last structures fade in your mind's eye, as the last stars wink out, you are left with the essence of comfort, a warm, safe, dark place where nothing is asked of you. It is the womb of the future, the place where you are held before you are born again into dreams. It is the safest place there is. The rhythm continues. In this final era, often called the Dark Era, the universe has become a place of perfect symmetry, a vast, smooth ocean of darkness where the surface is never broken by a wave. It is a place where later has no meaning because the state of the universe will be the same in 1 trillion years as it is right now. This timelessness is the ultimate luxury. It is the freedom from the schedule, from the calendar, from the very idea of a deadline. The universe has cleared its schedule completely, wiping the slate clean of all appointments, leaving only an endless, open expanse of free time. It is the feeling of a holiday that never ends, a Sunday morning that stretches out for eternity. Imagine a library at night, after all the patrons have left and the lights have been turned off. The books are still there, full of stories and knowledge, but they are closed and resting on the shelves. The air is still, smelling of old paper and quiet dust. The universe is that library, a repository of all that ever was, resting in the dark. The stories of the stars and the galaxies are not lost. They are simply finished, their covers closed. their volumes placed gently in the archives of the void. There is a profound sense of respect in this silence, a reverence for the history that has passed, and the quiet deepens. This darkness is not an absence of light, but a presence of peace. It is a heavy, comforting blanket that has been pulled up to the chin of the cosmos. When you pull a blanket over yourself, you create a microclimate of warmth and safety, a small world where you are in control. The universe has pulled the blanket of dark energy over itself, creating a macroclimate of absolute stability. Beneath this blanket, the temperature is constant, the pressure is zero, and the mood is one of eternal repose. It is a hibernation that does not require waking, a sleep that is its own reward. We often fear the end of things because we see it as a loss, but the universe teaches us that the end is simply a completion. A painting is not dead when the artist puts down the brush. It is finished. A song is not gone when the final note fades. It is complete. The heat death is the universe saying, "I have finished my masterpiece," and stepping back to admire the work from a distance. The work is the transition from chaos to calm, from noise to silence, and the result is a perfect, flawless void, and everything rests. As you lie there, allow yourself to feel the satisfaction of completion in your own life for today. Whatever you did or did not do, the day is now finished. You cannot add another brushstroke to it, and you cannot erase one. It is a completed canvas, ready to be archived in your memory. Let go of the urge to edit the day. Simply accept it as a finished object, a book that can be closed and put on the shelf. You are entering your own dark era for the night, a time where no new work can be done, and that is a relief, not a failure. The permission to stop is the greatest gift the universe offers. In the active phase of the cosmos, the laws of physics demand action. Gravity must pull, fusion must burn, light must travel. But in the final phase, the laws of physics grant permission to stop. The particles are allowed to rest. The fields are allowed to settle. You are granted this same permission right now. The laws of your biology are telling you that you do not need to solve any more problems tonight. You do not need to plan, to worry, or to think. You are allowed to just be, and silence follows. There is a concept in Japan called ma, which refers to the negative space, the gap between things, the pause between notes. It is considered as important as the things themselves, giving them shape and meaning. The deep future is the ultimate expression of ma, a vast, meaningful pause that holds the entire history of the universe in its embrace. Without this silence, the noise of the Big Bang would have no context. Without this dark, the light of the stars would have no canvas. The void is not nothing. It is the space that makes everything else possible. You are creating ma in your own mind right now, widening the gaps between your thoughts, lengthening the pauses between your breaths. In those gaps, you find the true nature of your consciousness, which is not the busy chatter of the mind, but the silent observer behind it. The observer does not judge, it just watches, calm and detached, like the universe watching the galaxies fade. Sink into that observer, into that quiet space behind the eyes, and feel the kinship with the cosmic void. The rhythm continues. The energy that once powered the stars has not disappeared. It has simply changed form, becoming a diffuse, low-frequency hum that fills the background. This is the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. This means that nothing is ever truly lost. The warmth of the sun, the light of the distant quasars, the spark of every fire that ever burned, it is all still there, woven into the fabric of the cold dark. The universe is a closed system, a safe box where everything is kept, just spread out a little differently. This knowledge offers a deep sense of security. You do not need to worry about losing your energy or your essence. You are part of a system that preserves everything. When you sleep, you are not losing time. You are transforming your energy from the kinetic output of the day to the potential restoration of the night. You are shifting from the fusion of the sun to the radiation of the black hole, a necessary cycle that keeps the system running. You are safe in the conservation of your own existence, and light drifts onward. In the language of the cosmos, cooling down is synonymous with settling down. Think of a metal that has been forged in fire. While it is hot, it is soft, malleable, and unstable. As it cools, it hardens, becoming strong, fixed, and durable. The universe is forging itself into a state of permanence. It is moving from the fluid chaos of its youth to the solid reliability of its maturity. The dark era is the tempered steel of space-time, unbending and unbreakable. Your sleep is a process of tempering. The heat of the day has made your mind malleable, reactive, perhaps a bit chaotic. The cooling of the night allows you to integrate the experiences of the day into the hard wisdom of memory. By morning, you will be stronger, more stable, ready to face the world again. But for now, enjoy the cooling, the slow hardening of the self into a state of rest. Feel the structure of your mind settling into place, finding its natural, comfortable shape. And the quiet holds. Even the concept of distance begins to feel like a form of intimacy in this vastness. When things are far apart, they cannot hurt each other. They cannot collide or conflict. The immense distances of the deep future are a form of universal peacemaking, a way of ensuring that every object has its own sovereign territory. The universe respects the need for personal space, granting every particle a kingdom of emptiness to rule over. In your sleep, you are claiming your own kingdom of emptiness. You are pushing the world away, creating a buffer zone of silence around your bed. Within this zone, you are the monarch, and the law of the land is rest. No invaders can cross the event horizon of your eyelids. No signals can penetrate the shield of your dreams. You are alone in the best possible way, sovereign and safe in your private cosmos. The current flows, without effort. As the narrative of the universe slows to a halt, we realize that the lack of news is a blessing. We are addicted to the new, to the constant stream of information and change. But the universe eventually outgrows this addiction. It discovers that the old is sufficient, that the state of simply existing is enough. There is no breaking news in the heat death, no updates, no alerts. There is only the steady, reassuring broadcast of silence. Turn off the news ticker in your mind. Let the scroll of thoughts stop. There are no updates required for this moment. You do not need to know what is happening elsewhere because nothing is happening here but peace. You are caught up on everything you need to know. You are here, you are safe, and it is time to sleep. That is the only headline that matters. And stillness travels through the water. The shadows in the room are not intruders. They are the friends of the sleeping universe, the local representatives of the dark era. They have come to help you rest, to dim the glare of reality so you can see the dreams behind it. Welcome the shadows. Let them soften the hard edges of the furniture. Let them blur the boundaries of the walls. They are expanding the room, turning your bedroom into a limitless chamber of rest. In this expanded room, gravity feels different. Not a force that pulls you down, but a force that anchors you, holding you steady so you don't float away. It is a grounding wire, connecting you to the Earth, which is connected to the Sun, which is connected to the galaxy, all drifting together through the void. You are part of the Great Drift, a passenger on a ship that is sailing smoothly through the night. The engines have been cut, and the ship is gliding on momentum, alone, and silence follows. There is a unique texture to the air when the world goes quiet, a certain thickness that feels protective. It is as if the atmosphere itself has wrapped a coat around you. In the deep future, the vacuum of space is the ultimate coat, a layer of nothingness that insulates everything from everything else. It is the perfect insulator, keeping the peace in and the noise out. You are wrapped in this cosmic insulation, protected from the friction of the world. Feel that insulation now, wrapping around your shoulders, your back, your legs. It is lighter than air, but stronger than steel. It blocks out the demands of tomorrow and the regrets of yesterday, leaving you in the clean, clear vacuum of the present. You are hermetically sealed in safety, preserved in the amber of the night, and everything rests. The final destination of the universe is not a place, but a state of being. It is a state of energy minimum, the point where the system is as relaxed as it can possibly be. We spend our lives trying to reach this state, looking for the weekend, for the vacation, for retirement. The universe shows us that this state is inevitable. It is where we are all headed, not through effort, but through the natural flow of time. You do not have to work to find rest. Rest is coming to get you. It is a comforting thought. You cannot miss the boat to tranquility because the river only flows one way. Whether you struggle or float, you will eventually arrive at the sea. The heat death is the promise that the struggle is temporary, but the peace is permanent. You are destined for calm. It is written in the laws of physics that govern your atoms. The orbit holds. As we approach the end of our journey through the deep time, notice how the very concept of end has softened. It is not a wall you crash into. It is a horizon you sail over. The universe does not stop. It merely changes into a form that is quieter, slower, and more spacious. Your sleep is not the end of you. It is a horizon you cross every night, a borderland between the active self and the resting self. Cross that horizon now. Let the active self stay on the shore, waving goodbye, while the resting self pushes off into the dark water. The water is warm, the current is gentle, and the stars are reflected on the surface. You are drifting away from the land of doing into the ocean of being. The shore is getting smaller, the lights are fading, and the silence is growing, and peace hums through the body. The journey we have taken tonight, from the burning stars to the black holes, from the crowded galaxies to the empty void, is a map of your own relaxation. You have traveled from high energy to low energy, from tension to release. You have followed the path of the universe down the mountain, and now you are in the valley. The grass is soft here, the wind is still, and the night is long. There is nothing left to explore, nothing left to explain. The science has been told, the facts have been shared, and now only the feeling remains. The feeling of vast, unending, unbreakable calm. Hold on to that feeling. Let it be the last thing you know before the dreams come, and everything softens. The grand narrative of the cosmos, from the first violent second to the last quiet eon, is ultimately a story of relaxation. It is the story of a system that started with too much energy and spent an eternity trying to give it away. You are part of that story, a small, intricate knot of energy that is slowly learning to untie itself. Tonight, you have untied a few more loops, loosened the tightness in your shoulders and the busyness in your mind. You have aligned yourself with the arrow of time, moving away from the complexity of the day toward the simplicity of the night. Think of the heat death not as an end, but as a graduation, a moment where the universe finally achieves what it has been striving for since the beginning. It is the arrival at a state of grace, where nothing is forced and everything is natural. You have arrived at your own state of grace for the night, a personal heat death where the fires of anxiety have cooled into the embers of comfort. You are in equilibrium with the room, with the dark, and with the silence. And the tide moves gently on. The dark energy that stretches the universe is also stretching your capacity for peace, widening the boundaries of what you thought was possible. It pushes away the noise until it is so far away it cannot be heard. In this vast quiet space you have created, there is room for dreams to grow, room for the subconscious to wander without bumping into the furniture of waking life. The universe has cleared the floor for you. The dance of the day is done, and the stillness of the night has begun. There is a profound gentleness in the physics of the end. It is not a slamming door, but a fading echo. It is the sound of a choir slowly lowering their voices until only the breath remains. Your thoughts are that choir lowering their volume, singing softer and softer until they merge with the silence. The song of the self is pausing, allowing the song of the void to be heard. It is a beautiful, wordless melody that lulls the spirit to sleep. The current flows without effort. As we reach the final moments of our journey, remember that the atoms in your body will one day be part of this great, cooling drift. They will float in the vast, open cathedral of the deep future, silent and safe. There is no urgency in this realization, only a sense of belonging. You belong to the dark as much as you belong to the light. You are a citizen of the cosmos, and the cosmos is preparing a bed for you that lasts forever. Let the gravity of this thought hold you down, pressing you gently into the mattress. You are heavy with stardust, heavy with the history of the universe, and it is good to lay that burden down. The bed supports you, the room shelters you, and the physics of the universe guarantees your rest. There is nothing left to do but trust the process of letting go, and silence follows. The black holes have evaporated, the stars have cooled, the galaxies have drifted apart. The screen of the universe has gone dark, not because it is broken, but because the movie is over. It is time to leave the theatre of the mind and step out into the cool, fresh air of sleep. The show was magnificent, full of colour and light, but the quiet of the night is even better. Thank you for drifting through these eons with me. It is a privilege to share the quiet architecture of the universe with a mind seeking rest. We have travelled from the beginning of time to the end of it, and we have found that the destination is peace. The universe is a safe place, a vast, cooling cradle that rocks everything gently into slumber. And everything rests. Now, the words are fading, just like the stars. The concepts are dissolving into the rhythm of your breath. The science is becoming sleep. There is no more need to listen, no more need to understand. There is only the soft, heavy pull of the dark, inviting you in. If your eyes remain open, another journey awaits. But if sleep arrives, you are already home.